Hi everyone, I believe that you are all doing great and welcome to the last of this essential lessons on imagination. So this is the fourth lesson and I suppose that you should catch the first, second and third. In the first lesson we mentioned about the power of imagination. Okay, where we learned that your imagination is the source of all things. There is no other source. People might call this the subconscious mind, and if that works for you, you can call it that. But it is your imagination. And I find imagination more appealing because it is not as vague as the idea of subconscious mind. One, two is that I know what I'm talking about when I say the imagination. You know what you're talking about. Not, of course, not because I've seen the imagination before, but because I can tell what I'm doing. You can tell the function in your mind, right? You can tell that this is the imagining. This is me imagining. This is my imagination. So, um, then, of course, in the second class, we learned about the first of the two techniques of using the imagination's power, and that was imaginal acts. We learned how to create an effective scene that would compel the wish fulfilled in our lives. And then in the third class, we learned the second uh, technique, which is inner conversations. And I emphasize the important point that your inner speech is fundamental to all creation and that you must learn to control um, your inner conversations. And I also mentioned that it seems quite difficult, but if you grow into the habit of controlling it, this is what Emis said. You are going to have um, these two gifts. We call it the two gifts, speech and mind and speech. They're going to usher you into eternity, into the realms of the immortal. What that actually means is that you are going to be a God on earth. Yes, you are God, but you really know that. Well, if you begin to control your inner conversations, you will know it for sure with your powerful experiences, both in results and in mystical terms. In today's lesson, we want to see the three processes of imagination, and each of these three is very important. They have specific functions and they can be used in specific ways. And I've just released the book on the third of these three processes. I've written on the three processes. I wrote the power of inner speech, I wrote the power of revision, and I've just released the power of self-concept. And those are the three processes of imagination. Now you'd see Neville talk about any of these three in many of his lectures. You could find a chapter of a book concentrating on self-concept, that you should change your concept of self. Another chapter may be concentrating on revision, and we would say you revise the past, you review the day in your mind's eye, you conform it to your ideal. And sometimes it would be talking about inner conversations, and I would say control your inner talking, change your attitude, or by change of your attitude, you could change, by change of mental diet, you could change your life, and so on and so forth. So what are these three? What is each one of them? And which one do you want to use at each point in time? Those are the two things we're going to be discussing here. If you want further lessons, right, on any of them, you can take self-study, which means you can just take lessons I've already recorded, so that you can listen to it, follow with the worksheets, and then on your own, okay, with your own self-study, you can master each one of them. Or you can, of course, sign up to study any of this with my associate coaches. You're welcome to do any of those too. They work. So let us get on with the first, self-concept. What is self-concept? There is only one student so far that I've asked that question, and they've said, yeah, everything that you believe to be true, whether about yourself or about anyone else in this world. Just one student. Out of the many students I've taken, I think I might have taken up to 100 students one-on-one. If not up to that, then very close to that. And yes, just one of them has said, uh, has answered that way. And that's because they heard me say it live, or they read me type it somewhere. They read it in one of my writings. But that's actually what it is. Self-concept is not how you see yourself alone. It is how you view your world. Everything that you believe to be true is your self-concept. The Bible calls it church, okay? And the word church is ecclesia, which actually means the called out. All right? That is the beliefs that you call out in your consciousness to be aware of as your own self. Period. So there could be beliefs about the traffic. And that's actually an example I love to use a lot. And say, suppose Alice called you on the phone. You're meant to have a meeting with Alice in the next 15 minutes. And she said, I'm still stuck in traffic. I am 2 hours away. I'm going to be late. You guys could just start the meeting without me. Then Michael enters the room and says, where's Alice? And you go, Alice is stuck in traffic. You said that not because Alice told you, but because you believed what Alice told you was true. Because if you knew that there were no traffics in your country, if you knew it's impossible for Alice to be stuck in any traffic, you'd say, oh, Alice just played a prank on me. I think she must be downstairs because she said that she's stuck in traffic, and you know there is no traffic in this country. Do you realize that? It's your belief. It's not because Alice told you so. Yes, Alice might be stuck in traffic. That's not to deny that point. But your belief of Alice being stuck in traffic is no longer Alice's experience. It is your experience, though this experience is your experience of Alice. And this is what we mean by everyone is yourself pushed out. We mean that what you know of someone is your own knowledge of them, not necessarily what their life is really all about. To draw the example a little further, Alice might be, for example, very comfortable being stuck in the traffic. Maybe she's stuck in the traffic but listening to her favorite jam, or she's listening to some lectures of Neville. Let's say she's a Neville lover, all right? But you are here, delayed in the meeting, and you feel very uncomfortable about Alice being stuck in traffic, and now you have to wait some 2 hours before you could carry on with the meeting because you don't want to do it without Alice being there. Do you see those are two different words to the same circumstance, or to the same situation? That's why we call it self-concept, meaning the concepts that you have your own self. Alright? The concepts, they could be concepts about anything, but you have them. It's yours. That's why we call it your concept of self. That's how Neville usually describes it. Your concepts of self. What do we do when we change our self-concept? We walk through three fundamentals. The first of them is self-observation, which means I know what I've been believing all along about anything in my life. The second is definition of aim, which means I then set out for a new thing, a new aim, or exactly what I want in my life now. And then the third and final step is detachment, which means it doesn't mean to detach from the wish fulfilled. It means to detach from the old way of thinking and then attach or fuse with the wish fulfilled. Okay, that is a very important lesson. That is how we change our self-concept. Now, what is the benefit of changing your self-concept? I would say in one simple term, your day-to-day life changes. That is the number one most important usefulness of changing your self-concept. Yes, of course, you could manifest things. This is something, right? You could manifest lots of things. You could manifest... I mentioned to my wife a couple of days back that I wanted this right from 2018 or 2019, since when I first saw it. And until I assumed that I was the kind of person who used it in 2022 before I got one. That's a change of my concept of self. It could produce material results. It could produce any result in your world. But the most important thing that your change of concept of self brings into your life is a change in your day-to-day life. Okay, that's a very important thing to understand. For example, my typical day is that I wake up when I want to wake up, and usually that's around 9 o'clock my time. That's when I want to wake up, not when I have to wake up, when I'm forced to wake up, but when I want to. I sleep when I want to sleep. All right. Then I have meetings that are arranged into the day, just when I want them to happen. I have classes, I have appointments with my students, or in days when I don't have appointments, then I enjoy the rest of the day having fun with myself and chilling with my beautiful queen. But that's it. That is my day-to-day life. And it's simple, it's pleasurable, and I enjoy it. But may I tell you that, in fact, when I started to coach, I didn't always have that liberty to wake up when I want to wake up or sleep when I want to sleep. Most times I would have to wake up much earlier than I wanted to wake up because I had to attend to a lesson or attend to a meeting or attend to a class. And then one day I said to myself, hey, this doesn't always have to be the case. Then I realized I secretly held this concept in my mind that because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm connected to lots of people all over the world, I could wake up at any time, even if it is midnight. I could wake up in the middle of the night to hold any session. And did you know that I've actually had classes that were scheduled for middle of the night, that were scheduled meetings, that even, in fact, not classes now, meetings with friends, they were scheduled for middle of the night. And that was my own thinking that, because I could do that, because now I have international friends, and some of them would be wanting to have the meeting at times that would be middle of the night for me, but of course that's what it means to be international in my country. So one day I woke up to myself, I said, listen, Adelere, you probably enjoyed that when it happened, but no more. I want to sleep when I want to sleep, I want to wake up when I want to wake up, and throughout the middle of the night, I don't want to have to wake up to work or do anything, just enjoy my sleep. And then I began to believe that's true. And I didn't even realize it was true until much later. One day, I think, when I was telling my driver, I said, I'm going out tomorrow. I think I'm going to be having to go out very early. Pick me up by 9 a.m. Then he said, did you say 9 a.m. is very early? I said, yes, is it not? 9 a.m. is very early. I know I have to wake up earlier than I would normally have to wake up, but I just want to get to town on time and return. And then he was like, okay, I thought you were going to say 7 a.m. That was when it struck me. I'd not been waking up 7 a.m. to try to rush into a meeting or to have to attend to something for a long time. There you go. It's a change in your concept of self. Okay? So it changes your daily experiences. It changes what happens to you on a day-to-day basis. Now, may I mention that self-concept is not, a change of self-concept is not you doing affirmations like, I am healthy, I am happy, I am wealthy, I am blessed, I am loved, I am enough, I am abundant, the universe is sending good my way. That is not self-concept. That is you just rambling with how would I put it? That's just doing some mamby-pamby approach to metaphysics. It's you doing affirmations, and that's all right if you enjoy it, if it's an exercise you love to do. I mean, if someone loves to go to the gym, I know going to the gym is not the way you become healthy. It is your imagination that keeps you healthy. But if someone loves it, I'm not going to say stop doing that, right? That's their cup of tea. That's their personal preference. So, that is not self-concept work. Self-concept has to go through the three fundamentals. Those are the three. The first is self-observation. Okay? That is the first. And how does that have to do with I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, the universe is sending good to my way? No, right? Do you realize they are not connected? Self-observation, where you get to reflect in yourself. This, that, and the other are the ways I've been thinking and believing about life. Then you make up your mind you want to change it. You want to be someone different, have something different in your life. Then the second is definition of aim. Maybe it works for someone else that they are wealthy, healthy, and abundant in life. But maybe you don't want that exactly. Maybe what you want is to be free and to see the world and to have great friendship and companionship. You don't want to just jump onto someone's I am abundant. The universe is sending good my ways affirmations. You want to define your own name. What will satisfy you? Not what will validate through someone else's lifestyle that you are also trying to do manifestations. Do you understand? So that's the second. Then the third step and the final one is detachment, which is where you actually practice the inner conversations of the wish fulfilled, of you being what you define your aim that you would like to be, or you having what you define your aim that you would like to have in your life. And that is when you really change your self-concept. Any other thing you do beyond, besides these three, is you simply wasting your time if you mean to change your self-concept. If you do not mean to change your self-concept, enjoy it. Have fun. It's your life. Do whatever you want to do. You're God. So, the second process is revision. Oh, by the way, I should mention something before we move away from self-concept. And it is that self-concept is not awakening. Okay? Self-concept is not awakening. On the contrary, self-concept is you rising. Rather, it is you rising from a level to another in your consciousness. So you're rising to higher and higher levels, but you're producing physical results. But that doesn't mean that you have the awareness that you are God. So a person could have a great self-concept, but not know that they are the creator of their reality. They may even have the great self-concept unconsciously, not ever knowing that it is their concept of self that is producing the results in their life. And they think it is someone outside of themselves that is doing it. But I feel that you knowing how to change your self-concept consciously does for you is that you can be able to do it anytime, any day without waiting for anyone. Well, I know that from my own experience personally, and I feel grateful for it. That because I know how to change my self-concept anytime, I'm able to actually make the change anytime my life demands it, or anytime I want a shift in my life. So that is with self-concept. Now let us move on to revision. Revision is, well, it is similar to changing your self-concept, except that you have it's like you go deeper and you still are able to cover wider. Okay, because self-concept changes your own daily experiences as far as it concerns your daily life. But revision is a change in your beliefs. Each belief. Okay, each belief. Self-concept is a change in an aggregate of beliefs. But revision is a change in each belief that you match to an ideal. And these beliefs could be about yourself, like I mentioned earlier, it could be about someone else. But when it comes to self-concept, you're essentially doing the work so that you can be someone better, or you can have something better. When it comes to revision, you're doing the work so that your world can be altogether improved, which could mean for yourself, or in fact, for another person. In fact, for people you've never met before, that you probably just heard about them. Yes, revision goes as far as that. So it's like you going specific or uniquely into each experience, but at the same time you're able to cover the widest, you're able to cover any range of experiences that you are aware of. So it's a change. Revision is when we match our beliefs to our ideals. Usually, our beliefs that we are trying to match here belong in the past. In other words, they are beliefs about things that have already happened in the past. But I said usually, not always. Sometimes you want to change beliefs that haven't even happened at all. For example, let's say you are 20, 30, or 40 years old. You haven't exactly got to retirement, but you've been fearful of retirement when they happen. You've been trying to save up in order to prevent yourself having a terrible retirement. Now, that's a belief. You can change it. You can begin to assume or revise that you actually have a fantastic, perfect retirement. And that is going to produce that result for you. Okay? So, that is revision. You can change beliefs that haven't even happened or solidified into physical form yet. And this is why we are able to countermand negative ideas when either they're suggested to us by other people or when we ourselves simply wander into territories that are weed-like in our gardens, in our mind. We can revise them. A thought could just suddenly spring up in your mind, maybe as a reaction to something, and maybe the thought is not loving, it's not perfect, but you became aware that you thought it, you imagined it. You can revise that imagining by assuming this is the first time you're thinking about that topic and you thought of something that is perfect, wholesome, or altogether wonderful. That's revision. Okay, and another thing is that revision is not always for bad things, although it is usually done for things that have caused us displeasure. But that's the word. Displeasure doesn't necessarily mean bad or terrible. It just means not satisfying. That's what the word displeasure means. So, I could suppose you would like to be a multimillionaire, and you've been trying to manifest that, and you looked at what you earned in the last 1 year, and you realized that you only earned as much as $100,000 in the year. But you'd like to be a multimillionaire. Now, that's a displeasure. But at the same time, you're comfortable. You're not broke. Okay? But that is not what you would like to have in your life. So what do? You simply revise it by assuming that when you look back over the last 1 year of what you've earned, you actually realize you've made multiple millions and still have multiple millions in your holdings. And that's it. That is still revision. Even though you're not revising from something bad to something good, you can still revise for something that is not entirely satisfying to the satisfying experience you'd like to have. We can revise up to 5 types of experiences. Number 1, we can revise our day-to-day experiences. This is the one you must do. If you do nothing else in your life, you must revise every 2-4-7. Like today, you'd ask yourself what happened in the last 24 hours that are not my ideals. Not ideals. And then you change them in your consciousness to match your ideals. Take note, I didn't say what happened in the last 24 hours that are bad. Because we don't want to try to assume that things terrible or bad that happen in our day, and then we have to change them from bad to good. You don't want to be the, how do I put that now? You don't want to be the arson who, the firefighter, who in order to justify his usefulness, is also the arsonist. Alright? You want to just be the gardener. So you go into your garden, what could I prune? What could I make more beautiful? But maybe days come, you find weeds. Of course, then you weed them out. But maybe days come, you don't find weeds. That doesn't mean that you still don't have things to do in your garden. You can cultivate it, make it more beautiful, make newer arrangements, reposition flowers, plant new seeds, right? That is what you want to be, a gardener. So, you revise your 2-4-7 by asking, what is the thing I could make more loving, more favorable, more pleasurable for myself or for others? You can revise your past, however past it might be. Maybe even if it is 2 years, when you were 2 years old. Alright? Let's say stories you were told by your parents when you were born. They said, when you were born, this, that, and the other happened. You always thought this was what my life is like. This is what has been from childhood. Nah. You can change it. You can revise it that your life has been perfect right from childhood by hearing a new story from your parents. And so on and so forth. You can revise for your friends, for strangers, for other people, in essence. You can revise your self-concept. And you can revise your achievements and make them even bigger. Things that you achieved, let's say you got millions as you wanted to achieve in this year, but suppose you would like to now have millions in investments. All right, then you can just revise that that's what happened, or you can revise that you made billions instead of millions if that's what you like next. So those are things you can revise. Finally, is that when we do our revisions every day, take note, I didn't say once in a while. I said every day, something is going to happen in you. You begin to awaken. Now, this is where you can actually experience what we call awakening. By revising every day, especially by revising for others and feeling completely joyful for them as you would for yourself, even sometimes more than you would for yourself. What that means is that you are quite eager to hear something wonderful for someone else, to feel something wonderful for someone else, to see something wonderful about someone else. If you get to that point where if someone is telling you this X, Y, and Z is happening in my life, you can't hear it. The only thing you can hear is, oh, I'm leading, I'm at the top, I'm at A, B, and C in my life, and you felt joyful for that, for them about that in your mind, you are going to make yourself begin to awaken. Neville says that is the seventh eye of God. That is the eye of Jehovah saves, or Jesus. And it awakens in us the spirit of forgiveness, which is the spirit of continual forgiveness of sin, which is the spirit of Jesus. And that leads us to the eighth eye, which is the eye of awakening. I know that to be true because I know that I can trace back many of my mystical experiences to moments when I'm faithful with my revision on a daily basis. There's another thing that your revision can do for you, will do for you actually. And in fact, this was the primary reason why I started with revision. Of the three processes, I started with revision, went on to self-concept, and then got on with inner conversations. And I must say that I loved that order. Although I've generally started with teaching my students self-concept first, revision next, then inner conversations finally. But this was it for me. When you do your revision daily and faithfully and wisely, the word wisely means that you're matching it to your ideals. Not that you're trying to escape the situation and going, oh, I don't want this, I don't want this. But you're matching it to your ideals. What do I want? What will happen in you as you do that every day is one day you would realize you really have the power to achieve any objective on earth. Yes, I know that. And I know that so well because I did revisions. In fact, that was the reason why I went on into self-concept. Because from revision, I already knew that I could achieve anything, accomplish anything in this world, no matter how strange that thing sounds. When I see someone talking and they say something is impossible, just go, they really don't know what they're talking about. They've not been doing revision on a daily basis. If they have, they would know it's possible. Now, you may tell me you want something. I don't necessarily jump on it and go, wow, that's good, that's possible when you tell me. But I know I can revise what you've said. And I know that if I revise it, it would actually happen. So I feel at peace with knowing that anything is possible, anything can be done, and if I would dare to assume it in revision for someone, it would actually happen for them. And this is why you want to do revisions every day. Because you would really know there is no objective. These are Neville's words now. He said, I believe that if you would wisely and daily, those are the two conditions, wisely and daily, use the process of revision, you would realize that there is no objective beyond your ability to realize. And I mean that seriously. No objective beyond the ability to realize. Those were the words of Neville in the first paragraph of the process of revision. Stuck in my mind. It got stuck. I went, I'm gonna prove that or disprove that by doing it every day until I can say that there is no objective beyond my ability to realize, until I can say for sure that I really can't realize every objective on earth. And I must tell you, I realize there is no objective beyond my ability to realize for one simple reason. I'd revise for others that I don't know. that I have no connection with their personal decisions. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they're not doing. I don't know where they are. I don't know if they're making the right decisions or the wrong decisions for their lives. But I would revise it. I would imagine that they got something that they said they wanted, and they would actually get it. Even though I don't know how they're living their lives. It began to dawn on me that it is not my personal actions, but my imaginal actions that really make a difference in this world. That's it. That's exactly where I began to realize it. So from that moment on, I made my personal actions irrelevant. And that's up until today. I never really judge my life based on my personal actions anymore. I only ever evaluate my life based on what I'm believing to be true. If I find myself believing the perfect thing, I don't care if I'm doing what people would call a mistake, or people would call irrational or senseless. I'll just do what I want to do, but watching carefully that my belief is in tune with the wish fulfilled. And of course, I could be doing the best possible, but I want to see at the end of the day is that not my actions, but my attitude of mind is firmly on the idea that it is done. So you want to do your revisions every day, because that way you would prove to yourself that there is nothing beyond the ability to realize for yourself and for others. Now, the final process is inner conversations. Your inner speech is it is the highest process of imagination, and there is nothing you want to do with any of the first two that you don't use your inner conversations. If you want to change your self-concept, if you notice, I said by detachment, you match your inner conversations to your wish fulfilled. In other words, you change your inner reactions. The word reactions actually means the things you're saying to yourself, though you're saying it based on the triggers of external events, but you're saying them yourself. That's what we mean by reactions, your inner conversations. If you can change your inner reactions, you change your self-concept. When you want to do your revision, especially for others, often usually involves you changing the conversations you had with them. I gave an example during revision. I said, let's say your parents told you of things that happened when you were young, when you were like 2 years old. You didn't know much, but they told you this was this, that, and the other happened. Did you realize I just told you to revise a conversation? Which means when you want to imagine it, you would actually have to imagine a new inner conversation yourself. You use your inner speech in all the processes, and you can use it alone without any of the processes. Now, there's a passage of scriptures that says that the tongue is unruly and difficult to control. But if any person can be able to subdue the tongue, they're also able to control their whole body. The word body means self-concept. So if any man is able to control their tongue, and the word tongue, I mentioned to us yesterday in the previous class, that the word tongue means your inner conversations in the Bible. If any person is able to control their inner conversations, they're able to also control their entire self-concept. That is what that passage of scripture says. That's James 3 verse 2, by the way. So you want to control your inner conversations morning, noon, and night. When you work on your inner conversations, you can leave all other processes aside. When you work on the other processes, you still have to work with your inner conversations. This doesn't mean that you have to choose between your inner speech and revision, or between your inner speech and self-concept. You can do any of them with another. You can do them simultaneously. It just means that with your inner speech alone, you're able to manipulate every aspect of reality. Let's review this way. With self-concept, you can make a change in your daily experiences, but you don't necessarily awaken. Okay? You don't necessarily know that you are the one even doing it. And that's why you see lots of people who are rich, famous, successful, but at the same time they think they are this little person when it comes to another area of their life, or they think they are this little human, they are down to earth, or they are just a worm of the earth. It's because self-concept, having a good or great self-concept, doesn't necessarily mean you are awakened. Okay, that's self-concept, but you get material or physical results, transformations in your daily life. With revision, you can know that you are God. You can know that you have the power to achieve anything in this world. But with inner speech, you just don't know it. You actually control on the level of being God. For example, if a person would set out to master their inner conversations and control it every day, within the first 14 days of that control, something would very much likely happen. If they're faithful, by the way, it would certainly happen. And it's this: they would wake up in their dreams at night. I mean, the dream that they dream when they sleep in the night, on the bed. In the dream, they would become consciously aware that their own inner speech is creating that dream. They can see it, they can feel it, they can sense it, and they can know that if they stop that inner conversation, the dream would cease to be. If they change that inner conversation, the dream would automatically change. I have done it a number of times. I've changed my inner conversations in my dreams, and the dream itself changed. And I have experienced scriptures with my inner speech in my dreams before I even realized it was scriptures I was experiencing. And I've heard my students who have done this also share a similar experience. In fact, I know a particular student is also now a coach with me, an associate coach, and it's amazing what he shared with me one day. When he was learning inner conversations with me, he took it very serious upon himself to control it as much as he could 24/7. So he went all out with one inner speech, followed all the details I gave to him, every instruction, and this is what happened. About the 4th or the 5th day, he shared his first dream with me. And I said to him, actually, because you control your inner speech so well, you would be much aware of your dreams now, and you'd also be much in control of them. And you know what? He actually shared more dreams with me back to back within that 1 month of our exercise. He shared more experiences with me, each one of them more powerful than the other, more meaningful, and really deep and profound dreams. And the best part of it is that he knew he was the one saying these things. He knew it's his own inner speech that is creating the experiences that are projected out in his own consciousness as dream. So, you can control your inner speech, and you'd be able to control your entire destiny. Neville said, when we match our speech to our fulfilled desire, we can drop all other processes. That's it. We can drop all other processes and simply focus on just our inner speech, and we would create not only a fantastic life, but create the most magnificent one for ourselves and for anyone that is in touch with our reality or with our creations. So, those are the 3 processes. I believe that with this, you know what you want to do, where you want to be, okay, and how you want to move your life forward. Which one of them you want to practice now or start with now? I would say something though, and it's this: you can make a commitment that for the next 1 month, or for the next 3 months. I love a month because within a month I can easily track what are the changes I've got, and then set myself a new set of goals in the incoming month that I'll be achieving with the next process I want to do. But I can go with yourself and go, I am going to be using this process in this month for the entire month. And then when the month is ended, you'd go, I'll be using this other process for the entire month. That way, you would actually build mastery. Okay? You'd build mastery. Okay, all this said, in this particular month itself, I'm inviting you to join me for the classes of what I would be exercising my imagination with. In this month, I'm very much interested with myself for creating my amazing destiny and living it, bringing it to life, my greatest destinies. I want you to also commit to yourself that you are going to bring your greatest destinies to life. You're going to make it not a dream anymore, but what you are actually living on a daily basis. What are the dreams you would like to transform from dreams to physical experience? From the inner reality to this outer actuality. Come and register in the month's coaching month's class, and I think you can register with this link right here. Okay, there we go. Right, so I believe that you can see right there. All right, so you can register with this link right here, and you'd be able to live your greatest destiny in this month. That is going to be my exercise. That's the process I'm trying out. I usually use one or two of these three processes in a month after another now, but the theme or the focus or the idea that I'm wishing to embody for this month is living out my destinies, my greatest destinies. And I would encourage you to do the same. So, talk to you all later. Have a great time, and bye-bye.